When we think about healing, we usually picture something, well, gentle, right? But what if, for some people, the real path to peace is actually found in a fight? Today, we're diving into this powerful paradox, how the combat sport of Brazilian Jiu Jitsu is helping people heal from some of the deepest psychological trauma imaginable, literally from the inside out.
And the need for something different has never been more urgent. Get this, a 2013 VA report laid out a staggering reality. Every single day, approximately 20 veterans die by suicide. Let that sink in for a second. 20. Every single day. That's not just a statistic, is it? It's a full-blown crisis, and it shows that there's a huge gap in our conventional treatments. It's exactly why people are looking for solutions in some very unexpected places. And this quote, this one from trauma survivor Anna Purkel, just gets right to the heart of it all. She says, the victim becomes a warrior. It's the complete opposite of the trauma suffered. You see, this isn't just about coping or getting by. We're talking about fundamentally rewriting your own story, flipping the script from helplessness to empowerment. So the big question is, how? How is this even possible? It sounds completely backwards, doesn't it? A martial art that's famous for chokes and joint locks is supposed to heal the mind? How in the world does that work? Well, that's what we're here for. Let's break it down.
First things first, we have to understand the sheer scale of this problem. For so many people who've served, the battle doesn't just end when they come home. It's like they have to fight a whole new war, a war after the war against these invisible wounds. And this isn't an issue that's just confined to the battlefield. The reach of trauma is incredibly widespread. Just look at the data here. Studies estimate that a staggering 30% of first responders and nearly 14% of veterans from recent conflicts end up developing post-traumatic stress. And here's the real kicker. Fewer than half of veterans who need mental health care actually get it. And even for those who do, many aren't receiving the kind of care that's been proven to work best. This massive gap is exactly where alternative therapies become so vital. So into that gap steps Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. Its name actually translates to the gentle art, which is kind of our first clue that there's more going on here than just fighting. It's turning out to be a really unexpected but incredibly powerful path to healing. Now, to understand why it works, we need to touch on something called somatic psychotherapy. It sounds fancy, but the idea is pretty simple. It's therapy that focuses on the body. The core concept is that trauma doesn't just live in your head or your memories. It gets stored in your body, in your nervous system. So if you're really going to heal, you have to involve the body in that process.
Think of it like this. You've got two main approaches to healing. There's top-down therapy, which is what we think of as talk therapy. You use your conscious mind, your thoughts, to try and change your feelings. The mind leads the body. But then you have bottom-up therapies, and that's where Jiu Jitsu fits in. They work by creating new physical experiences that send a different message up to the brain, letting the body lead the mind back to a feeling of safety. It's a total reversal.
So let's really dig into that first mechanism, healing from the body up. This is all about reclaiming your physical autonomy. I mean, for a lot of trauma survivors, their own body can feel like a prison, or like the source of all their fear. This process is about getting back in the driver's seat and taking back control. Let's go back to Anna Purkel, who we heard from earlier. She described her starting point so clearly. She had triggers all over the place, around touch, men, women, assault scenarios. Her own body had become this minefield of fear, especially when it came to physical closeness with other people. So the goal then is to achieve what's called body sovereignty. I love that term. It's the radical act of taking back complete ownership of your body. It means you are the one who decides who touches you, when they touch you, and how. It's about being the ruler of your own physical self again. Anna's journey is just a perfect case study of this whole thing in action. It started with a trigger. An instructor at her gym resembled a man who had attacked her, and it caused this full-body trauma response. But here's the thing. She was in a safe, controlled place, so instead of running, she stayed. She intentionally trained, bit by bit, pushing her comfort zone. Then came the ultimate test. She chose to take her belt exam with that very same instructor. And after she passed, something incredible happened. She looked at a picture of her actual attacker and felt calm. Her body had learned on a deep physical level that it was no longer in danger. That is bottom-up healing. Okay, so beyond that physical rewiring, there's this profound psychological shift that happens.
This is all about building an entirely new mindset, one that's literally forged under pressure, but a safe, controlled kind of pressure. Listen to this from another practitioner, Melissa. After surviving a violent assault, she lived with insecurity for years. But through jiu-jitsu, she says, I found myself and who I was meant to be. I'm no longer defined by my past. I mean, come on. That's a fundamental shift in your entire identity. And now, the scientific studies are starting to actually quantify what people have been feeling all along. In one study, participants with PTSD reported this whole range of therapeutic benefits. We're not just talking about feeling a little better, we're talking about building a whole toolkit of mental skills, assertiveness, patience, self-control, all learned through physical practice on the mat. But the healing doesn't just happen on a physical or individual level. There's a third piece to this puzzle, and it's all about community. Jiu-jitsu isn't a solo practice. You do it with other people. And that social connection, what a lot of people call the power of the tribe, is an absolutely crucial part of recovery. What makes this particularly effective for veterans is that the culture of a jiu-jitsu gym often mirrors the best parts of military life. You have a clear hierarchy with the belt system, a shared purpose on the mats, and this intense camaraderie that's built through shared struggle and trust. For so many, it replaces a community that was lost. And this isn't just happening in a few random gyms anymore. A whole ecosystem of nonprofits has sprung up to support this work. Organizations like the We to Five Foundation and Mission 22 are helping veterans and first responders get on the mats, proving that this has truly become a widespread movement. So, okay, we've heard the stories, we've gone through the theories, but what does the data really say? Let's look at the hard evidence and what it suggests about the path forward for treating trauma. And this isn't just anecdotal. A pilot study of service members and veterans found that jiu-jitsu training led to what they call clinically meaningful improvements across the board. You can see it right here in the data. Look at those significant drops in reported PTSD symptoms, in major depression, and in generalized anxiety. The science is finally starting to confirm what practitioners have been feeling all along. And maybe this quote from the psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi really sums it all up best. He said that the best moments in our lives happen when we voluntarily stretch ourselves to accomplish something difficult and worthwhile. And that is a perfect description of jiu-jitsu. It's a hard, worthwhile challenge, but it happens in a safe container. Which really just leaves us with this final thought. We often think of healing as this soft, gentle process. But what if, for some of us, the most effective path forward isn't about avoiding the struggle, but about learning how to embrace it, to face it on your own terms, and to come out on the other side not as a victim, but as a warrior?